Well, let's bring in now the former second vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Monday Ubani. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 10. First, let's get your reaction on the Supreme Court judgment today.
Abosede, I'm not hearing you very well. Please, I don't know what is the problem. I'm not hearing you very well at all.
Okay, if it's better now, I am asking about your reaction on this landmark judgment of the Supreme Court on the CBN's Naira Redesign policy.
This is one of those days, you wake up, and probably in the daytime you hear about good news concerning the legal profession in which you belong. I mean, if any person had told me yesterday that the Supreme Court will exhibit the kind of boldness and the kind of being straightforward in the judgment that was delivered today, I may be a bit hesitant in believing. But it has happened that the Supreme Court has lived up to expectation in looking into the eyes of the president and telling him the truth and nothing but the truth. That what he did on the day he announced the issue that he will not in any way abide by the order of the Supreme Court, that it was clearly something that was sacrilegious. He was exhibiting high level of dictatorship. He was doing as if he never swore to uphold the rule of law or the Constitution. And so I am happy to be a member of the legal profession once again, that the Supreme Court lived up to his billing in telling the president that he was clearly and absolutely wrong to have interfered in a process that was submitted to the Supreme Court for resolution. I know that other arms of government will always, at every point in time, say no, if a matter is before the court, it is clearly sub judice, and nobody has any right whatsoever to interfere, especially when the matter has been submitted for resolution. So I am happy that this particular position was taken by the Supreme Court today in order to put back the position that the right thing is that anytime a matter is before the court, no other person should interfere until that matter is properly resolved by the same court.
Mr. Ubani, what exactly would be the implication if the federal government and the CBN refuse to comply with this directive or just come up with some form of excuses?
I'm having difficulty hearing you again.
I'm asking what the implication would be if the federal government and CBN give excuses or outrightly refuse to comply with this directive.
I bet that the president of the country will not at this juncture. And I also bet that the central bank governor will not. As I speak to you today, I had 50,000 Naira left, old notes still in my possession. But immediately it was reported that the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of extension to 31st of December. I started to spend my 50,000 Naira. You can see now that what is remaining here is 10,000. I have given certain persons money with the old note, telling them that the Supreme Court judgment prevails over any other pronouncement, either from the central bank governor or from the president. And we'll begin to use the old notes until 31st of December. And so as I'm speaking to you now, the 50,000 Naira has been drastically reduced. Even I just came back from my barber now. I used the old note to pay him. And now I'm telling Nigerians that the Supreme Court order prevails, and the people, if you have old notes, should be spending it until 31st of December of this year.
But then, Mr. Ubani, what happens if by the 31st of December, somehow, Nigerians still have lots of old notes in their possession?
I think that if there is any person that will want to disobey the order of the Supreme Court in this light, I think the person should have his head re-examined, because it is enough time for you to do whatever you want to do with your old notes. And besides, it is important we know that what the government wanted to do was to ensure that we touch up the Naira and make sure that it has value. One of the policies that this particular, one of the advantages that this policy would have actually endeared to Nigeria was issue of making Naira to have value. You remember in this scarcity, if I give to people 200 Naira or 500, they now intend to appreciate it. Rather than a situation before you give 1,000, nobody pays any regard to that, calls you a stingy person. But in the light of what is going on presently, 200 Naira now is what it has a value. 500 Naira has a value. So in the long run, It is a policy that all of us will come to appreciate. But the point is that the government poorly implemented this policy. The deadline was unnecessary. Even the issue of asking people to collect only 20,000 naira, which you can't even see 1 naira in the bank if you go to now, is something that, again, has brought so much onto that ship, making nonsense of a good policy. The implementation was not well thought out. And of course, you can see the reaction of Nigeria. Nobody's doing business anymore. Nobody is doing business anymore.
Indeed, and we hope that there's full compliance with this judgment of the Supreme Court. Monday Ubani is a former second vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association. Thank you for your time on TVC News at 10.